You know, ever since Simone vs. Kyle was announced for next time, I can't help but say, time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Again.
You know, ever since Simone vs. Kyle was announced, I can't help but say, time, huh? Thanks for the tip.
Again.
Darn it, Dominus Thrax! Why do you do this to me? I'll be really happy when Rusalka... Hey, Thrax. Do you mind doing your thing? Please?
Again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fireball Archeo 48, and welcome back to another Death Battle reaction video. Today, we have a very exciting episode, and if you to be honest with you. Today, we have Simone the Digger from Gurren Lagann versus Kyle Rayner from DC Comics. Now, before I watch it, you watch anybody else react to it, go like, comment, and subscribe to Death Battle YouTube channel. Watch it for yourself before watching me. Go support the guys that actually make this series awesome. And hey, they're independent now. They need our money. So, let's get into how do I know these two. Recently, I've been watching Gurren Lagann, and it's a really good anime. I highly recommend it if you've not watched it. It's probably only like 27 episodes. Currently, I've not finished it, but I also got distracted by job, life. We'll just leave it there. On the other side, Kyle, I know about the Green Lanterns and other lantern rings, but I know nothing about Kyle. All I know is what people have told me from podcasts and all that sort of stuff. All I know is this fight's gonna be ridiculous. And you know how I joked last time that, hey, we're getting Will the Drill 2.0. Then Brandon Pope made this on Wednesday. Wow. I was not planning on that to happen, but it did. I guess I'm psychic? But again, let's get into the fun part of this conversation. Who wins? Alright, who do I want to win and who I think wins? Who do I want to win? I actually want Simone to win. I've recently become watching Gurren Lagann, and Simone has that Goku-like energy where he overcomes things going in front of him, just kind of like similar the way Goku did in Dragon Ball. And the fact of the matter is, the anime I actually fell in love with. It's really good, as I said before. And it's one of those things that, I mean, I like Green Lanterns. Again, my birthstone is in May, so I'm an emerald, so I understand why I like the Green Lanterns. However, I just like Simone that much more in my mind. Now, who wins this fight? I bloody don't know! Originally, I was leaning towards Kyle, and because I didn't know jack squat about Simone before, after Chief Doom. But I don't know anything about. I lean towards that way, and then it's like, yeah, this is a lot closer than you think. The thing is, at this point, if you were to put a gun to my head and I had to make a gut choice right now, I want to say Kyle, but it's not 100%. It's like a 51-49 Kyle. That's the way I'm looking at it. Because I watched the Lads podcast and the Robust cast. Again, go watch them if you haven't. But both there was a mix-up. Most of them went for Simone. There's only 2 that went for Kyle. But again, this fight could go either way. Both these characters are ridiculous. However, who wins is anybody's game. Now, again, I think I need to stop talking. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as much as I do. The preview I watched looked sick, so I'm just gonna shut my dang mouth, and we're gonna watch this incredible episode. 3, 2, 1, let's watch this episode. Fight!
Simone the Digger, Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern. Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
Yep.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Let's go!
Deep underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess.
He was a digger, content.
Age 21, height 6'2", occupations digger, supreme commander, pilot, hermit, currently. Pronounced Simone is a mangaka in another universe. Inspired by Captain Harlock, okay. Likes mole steaks, Nia, Kamina drills. Just like paperwork, authority, the anti-spiral. Valid.
To drill endlessly through the dirt until the day he found the core drill.
Yep.
The key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagan. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, they finally drilled their way to freedom,
Yeah.
seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit.
No.
The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity.
Yes, he
Throwing
would.
a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits
Yep.
Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan.
With
Yep.
Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Yes.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower.
Gurren Lagann, height 12.8 meters, runs on willpower, merges with larger machines, drills, missiles, sunglasses, boomerang, energy blast.
And capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including
Yeah.
missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills.
You know the drill.
Shield drills, Kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Burangu! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality. What up?
with Gurren Lagann's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Yep.
Until Kamina died.
Oof.
Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault.
Ouch.
He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger,
Yes.
at home in the darkness,
Yeah.
guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was
Dang.
the one looking up to him the whole time. It
Yes.
was Simone who found
Yes.
Lagan, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Yes, he would.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side.
Ow.
Who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attack.
There we go.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential.
Of course it
what
did.
they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns
Mm-hmm.
out that's just a manifestation of spiral power. An
Yep.
energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral.
Yeah.
And this is when Gurren Lagann gets
Wacky.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities.
Gurren Lagann evolutions. Spiral power. Exponential adaptation. Self-repair. Force fields. Energy absorption. Reality warping. Arch Gurren Lagann. Sighty size. Thunderbolt. Chariot kick. Space-time shattering. Burst. Spinning punch. G-Willikers. Super galaxy Gurren Lagann. Moon size. Full strillas. Spatio temporal axis. Simultaneous shooting. G-Willikers.
And higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Tengen Toppan Gurren Lagann. Incomprehensibly big. Contains super spiral space. Probability missiles. There's that. Super Tengen Topa Gurren Lagann. Mech size is greater than the observable universe. Infinite spiral power. Drill size, the is by far really more.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann.
There we go.
Which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light. Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history.
Oh boy.
Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. And the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes.
Here we go.
You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the anti-spiral's greatest trap, the multiverse labyrinth. An attack
There's
that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simone and his spiral power are just built different.
Yep.
And after being inspired by his bro, Simone absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that this labyrinth was 11-dimensional. Meaning
There we go.
Simone absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
There
the
we
jump
go.
between dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends
Yep.
infinitely. Thus, an infinite gap in size and scope.
Yep.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started.
Yeah.
Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from
My brain
what
hurts.
actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon, who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding
Yep.
another to the mix.
Yep.
Wait, if every human being has spiral power, you're telling me we can all do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when
Sheesh.
Gurren Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees.
The makes multiple references to brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with the author statements asserting these galaxies are in fact universe. Yep.
Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simon's power was
Sheesh.
so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
Yep.
And Simone turns his thoughts into reality, letting him create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not
Yep.
only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Like
Yep.
when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body.
Someone
from
is stated in interviews and directly shown to be the strongest spiral power user. As such, he is capable of the same feats and abilities as his crew.
being erased at the informational level
Oh.
for 7 days straight.
Information in
Oh.
physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia
Oh.
literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
Yikes.
I have spiral power, whiz. When the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this is not enough for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simone and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey, cruel indifference of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic.
Became the Simone that believed in him, pulled the moon back into orbit, struck all of space-time at once, absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, withstood the infinity Big Bang storm, shattered a drill trillions of light years long, defeated viral four supreme generals, Lord Genome, and the anti-spiral.
That Simone's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
Yep.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Yep.
The universe is a dangerous
Kyle
place.
Rayner, here we go.
Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
Green Lantern Corps! They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him.
And he still beats Ben 10. Sorry.
The man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern.
Becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was
Yikes.
only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
Yep.
So, was Kyle picked for his
Full name, Kyle Rayner, age 30, height is 5'11", weight is 175 pounds, occupation is comic artist and Green Lantern, aka Ion, Parallax, Torchbearer, like Superman, Asian movies, Gamera, dislikes DC, Real Giants, Long Triangles, NAV of HEAT, Heat. Nice.
dominable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on.
That's
What's
so
still
good.
better Being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Sweet, and a sentient fox can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields,
Yep.
affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time
Yep.
travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well,
Yeah, thank you. They're exaggerating. Green Lantern, protective aura, flight, galactic database, artificial intelligence, invisibility, intangibility, time manipulation. Time, huh? Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip. Time travel, age manipulation, matter manipulation, gravity manipulation, mind reading, reality warping, constructs, energy blast, shields, exoskeletons, melee weapons, projectile weapons, vehicles, animals, mythical creatures, mecha, resistance, poison, entropy, antimatter, reality warping. Oh dear.
consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching
Jeez.
an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space,
Whew.
letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into
Yikes.
the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And
Yep.
the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like
Yep.
the time that Boozer Kilowog survived being
The
a
Green Lantern's chip stated its ring protected him from the effects of the crisis on Infinite Earths. Dr. UBX also survived the crisis by using the Sucker Stick, an analog to the Green Lantern ring.
raised from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earths.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While
Yeah.
Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched.
Yes.
Probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's
Yeah.
most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can lift himself enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that it's limited to 24
By
hours.
raising the power of Ion, Kyle modified the Green Lantern to have an emerging reserve of backup power. It will never fully run out, even if it cannot maintain 100% charge. Oh!
Before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female
Ooh.
characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But
Yep.
little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
Yeah.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
Yeah.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion.
Yes.
The yellow light of fear lit
Powers, here we go. Red Lantern, napalm, plasma breath, rage, infection, blood absorption. Blue Lantern, healing, possession nullification, emotional purification. Sapphire Lantern, crystal matrix, mind control. Indigo Lantern, portals, compassion manipulation. Orange Lantern, energy siphoning, soul manipulation. Yellow Lantern, fear manipulation, fear empowerment. White Lantern, control over life, resurrection, clairvoyance, and astral communication. Oh crud, they're giving him the life equation. Mathematical source of life, extensive reality warping. Uh-oh. Oh boy. The life equation, oh gosh.
lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm. Which
Yikes.
sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Hey,
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space,
Oh,
connecting
boy.
him to others.
The final one was the Sapphire Light of Love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Yes.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a
White Lantern.
with total control over the power of life.
Wiz,
Yes.
I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern
Yeah.
in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can Kyle instantly heal all wounds,
Even a single central battery power contains enough power to create and destroy it.
purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation, like the Anti-Monitor.
Cal has held his own against Parallax as a Green Lantern, and a Parallax has fought Time Trapper, Spectre, and Final while possessing Hal. This substances the White Lantern as being equal or superior to Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the life equation.
Oh, boy.
Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart,
Contained a supernova, survived the Big Bang that created the DCU, outsped the laws of physics, surpassed Hal Jordan's power, resisted anti-life equation's domination, mastered emotional spectrum, and defeated the Wonder Woman. That's powerful. Parallax and his own Oblivion.
the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a
Oh.
higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns.
Yes.
And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
Now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
Whew.
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too
Boo.
anime.
Boo.
But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's like our
Yay.
own private Patreon with a store
Woohoo.
for Death Battle merch and a complete Death Battle video archive.
Yay.
It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way.
Yay.
So check out deathbattle.gg live right now.
Alrighty, let's get into who I think wins. I freaking don't know. Oh, this one's a tough one to call. But the thing is, they gave more dimensional stuff to Kyle, which makes me lean towards Kyle at this moment. But this is a tough call. Simone's powerful in his own right, and he's been able to overpower a lot of things. And again, they resist each other a lot. But this is still one of those 51-49 for me. I think Simone has a little more control. But the soul manipulation from the Orange Lanterns, I don't know if Simone has a counter. You know what? This is a tough call. Very hard decision. But if I had to make the gut call right now, after watching the analysis, the probability of missiles will hurt. But I think Kyle can overcome it. I'm picking right now Kyle Rayner. But if Simone wins, I am rooting for him, and I want Simone to win. But jeez, this one's closer than people originally thought, including myself. But I want to shut up because this episode looks so good. All right, the commands are set, and let's run through all possibilities. It's time for a death battle! Let's go. Will of the drill, baby. Whoa.
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are?
Balrog. Girls. That's the Luigi's Mansion reference.
Hold up God with authority.
Great.
About it.
Four?
Drills.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
Yep, it will. There we go.
Take it to Gurren Lagann!
Whoa. White Lantern.
That's really cool.
I'm a lantern. We do the impossible.
Yeah, we do.
Visible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
Yeah, you do.
Wait, no.
Now you know. Woohoo! Yeet!
I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
Whoa! Woo! Life equation. Hanging. Wow!
Stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simone.
There it is. Coming up. There we are. There we go. There it is.
My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens. Giga Drill Break!
Woohoo! Whoa. Whoa! This is gonna be sick. Whoa, who's got it? Well, turn fit.
The
Whoa.
super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day.
In blackest night,
No
no evil shall escape my sight.
Let those who worship evil's might beware.
Where my power? Green Lantern's light! Oh!
See you grit those teeth!
Ooh!
You'd make a good lantern.
Ooh!
Simon of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Ooh! Simone did win. I'm okay with that.
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses.
When both combatants possess unlimited power,
I kinda
it's
thought
hard to
Simone would
judge
win,
them
though.
By our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of
Okay.
targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind
Don't mean nothing.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle.
Okay.
Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
Okay.
Imagination! The boundless things they could conjure to use against each other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Yeah.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered. like
Yeah.
the probability-altering
Yeah,
missiles.
I
But
picked
it's
that.
likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring
Oh.
could protect against existence being erased
Oh.
across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's
Yeah,
arsenal,
yeah.
which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves
Okay.
the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
Okay.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here. Since
Yeah.
it's the source of everything for both of them.
Yeah.
Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiversal scale with
Yeah.
their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly
Okay.
calculate a difference.
Okay.
This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse
Right.
Kyle's power can threaten.
And
Right.
remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Right.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level.
Oh.
However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to
Yes.
determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's
Okay.
whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger.
Right.
So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Right.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
Yeah, he
And
did.
To close the gap with Kyle.
That is true.
Especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly
That is
before.
true.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge.
Okay.
Especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in
Okay,
strength
yeah.
like Simone has.
Yeah,
And while
I'll
Kyle
agree.
could manipulate emotions to reduce Simone's willpower,
It-
Simone resisted.
yeah,
the
Simone
elaborate
resisted it,
mental
yeah.
Manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a
Okay.
higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it.
That is true,
It was
too.
just as much a detriment to him as an asset. forcing him to relinquish it.
That is true. I never thought of that.
Reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself, writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral
That makes
power
sense.
to make
That makes sense.
fiction
Yeah.
into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle
Okay.
may have embodied life itself.
Simone, greater rate of action, super regeneration, resistant emotional spectrum, countered each other's abilities, weaker, stronger at base, more creative use of the ring. Yeah, we'll talk about it at the end.
But Simone's unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Next time on Death Battle.
Wiley versus Tom! What?
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Wiley versus Tom. So, Simone wins. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this L. This was a lot tougher than I originally thought it was going to be, and I will continue to say that was a hard one to call. I'm glad they tackled it more, and they even said there's ways that Kyle could win. It's just they think Simone would win more times than not. Now again, I mean, I'm okay with this. I wanted Simone to win. I was rooting for him, but I'll take this L with I will take this L with pride and joy on this one. That fight was sick, and this track was even dope. They're holding this guy. Do I need to say Will the Drill again? Holy moly, Death Battle. I'm glad y'all tackled this, not me. It was a nightmare to do. However, great episode entirely. I'm excited how the episode turned out. That was a spectacle to watch. Gorgeous to watch. The clashing of the drills, Gurren Lagann, the White Lantern ring and the other lantern. Boom. They was so good. And they even, I never, and they considered the life equation, that the life equation would, Kyle couldn't control it, which I never thought about. He couldn't control it, but Simone could control his. That makes sense to me. Again, I'm okay with this. Again, I'm not gonna be like, dang it, I lost. I wanted Simone to win, so this is actually a win-win for me. If Kyle won, cool, I win. If Simone wins, I win. So let's get on to that next one. The Death Battle Champions fight. Wile E. Coyote versus Tom Cat. You ready for some wacky Toon Force shenanigans? This is going to be wacky, loony, in fact. I'm excited to see what this episode's going to have entail. I just don't know who I'm predicting. This is another fight where I don't know who to pick. But again, I'm excited for it. I don't know what to go. I watched Looney Tunes growing up as a kid. I watched Tom and Jerry when I was growing up. This is just gonna be fun to watch. Again, if Scooby versus Courage taught me anything, that fight was just fun to watch. And if you don't like daggone fun, shut up. Now again, I hope you enjoyed Simone versus Kyle. If you didn't, I'm sorry. It was epic and peak. But again, if y'all agree with the analysis, you think Simone wins, leave in the comments. If you think Kyle should have won, leave in the comment section. Again, tell me how much you were excited for Wiley versus Tom in the description below. Again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, I hope to see you the next time we do another Death Battle reaction. Watch Wile E. Coyote versus Tomcat. This is Fireball RKO 48 saying, peace out, guys.